Oh, what is that? Oh, that's the building. Oh, God. I think I got this. I'm starting up early, y'all. Just because then it helps me get the kinks out. Let y'all know I'm here. Why do I hear sound? No. Oh, that's me. I need to put that on mute. That is the commercial running for this. Okay, guys. So when you come back here for the after the live show, it says one viewer because I think that's me. 3 viewers. Okay. When I come back for the live show, leave in the comment area, or when you come back for the recorded version of this for my people that watch this when it's not live, would you like me to edit it down, or do you want me to leave it as is? I know it's 72 minutes. I know some of you probably are like, done. But also remember, if you're watching it on your computer, down there is the little gear looking thing, because that's settings. You can go to the gear thing and you can set it for ×2, and you can actually listen to this very fast. So you know. So if you're here, say hello in the comments, please. And also, you know, something new, tell me where you're at. Nothing specific, but you know, if you don't want to. But let me know like what part of the country or world that you're in. I'm waiting on Tangi to come. I just text her. I'm like, are you ready? And I'm in the, hello, the keepers, his Crystal. Good morning from South Carolina. Thank you. Miss Sharon King, good morning to you too. Tangi said, did you get my text? I did not. I don't get what's going on with my thing. I can't show you everything, but I get, Tangi, I just got your text. Oh, you wait till you hear about this. I'm gonna cry. Okay. Hello, Miss Shannon from New Hampshire. God bless you from Ohio. Tori is in Texas. Christine in Rhode Island. Hello, Sharon King. She's in Memphis, Tennessee. Diana Jones is Central Georgia. You like, I gotta put the accent in there. You gotta forgive me. That is so cool. Wait till Tangi gets here. I'm so excited. Hello from Ohio. Are you guys ready for Christmas? I am. I got, I know if you saw my last video, kind of seen it. This is it almost feels like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. But I have to tell you, thank you, Miss Diana Jones. Tangi is here.
Hey.
Hey, Tangi, you kind of sideways. Oh, there you are.
Huh.
No, you're sideways.
Am I fixed?
What is she doing? No, you're good. Talk.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I was trying to get it. Okay. So what have I missed? Like my husband just walked out the door.
Oh, I've been saying hi and good morning to everybody in the chat. Like from Miss Bandana Grandma, because I'm gonna remember it's a bandana, not a banana. And then Marla is hello from New Mexico. Oh, Mayflower Homeschool. She's in Maine. I got me some Maine family too, up there in Dexter, but I've never met them. Heather says good morning. Oh, so anyways, I kind of read the thing that said, let me reenact what I did. Tangi said she sent me a message. Ooh. And then I said, oh, I can't wait for Tangi to get here.
I know. Well, hang on. Before I tell everybody, I want to pull up the chat so I can see it. But first, before I tell my news, can we tell your news?
Yeah, I didn't realize. And then you posted. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, it did. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. You tell it. It's your news.
I hit 3,000 subscribers.
Woo!
You know, it's funny because I do, you know, I'm always like, hey, you should YouTube. And I'm hoping this helps the sound because kids are fighting in the background and getting mad about candy canes and stuff like that. But it's funny because I always tell people to YouTube, and I'm like, you ought to YouTube, and I try my best when I see little channels to like just promote them. Hello, Jenny from North Carolina. Miss Erica Samuel is from West Virginia. I'm going to tell you, I started YouTubing in May, and it wasn't until Christmas I hit 250 subscribers. It is funny because it just starts picking up speed. And I think I hit 1,000 subscribers last May. And I'm not sure where the 2,000 happened at, but it wasn't but just a couple months ago. So it's pretty darn amazing. I really think it's you guys here at Mama Gets Fit that's really boosting my channel. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it's your awesome personality that keeps everybody coming.
Well, it helps to pair up with somebody who's pretty awesome in personality too.
Oh, stop. Just stop. Okay, I say good morning, everybody.
Bandana Grandma hit 500 this week.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You know what's really funny is I remember, when you first start YouTube, every time you get a subscriber, you would get an email. And then one day the email stopped coming. And I thought, I wonder what's going on. And then I realized I'd gotten so many, they just stopped sending the email. And then, there's another thing. But yeah, it's just like every time I check, and once I hit like a certain digit, I'm like, I tell the family in there, my kids are like, does this mean you're famous? Like, no. It means that people are really awesome and they actually care about what's going on in here. So that's great. So good morning, everybody. Now I can see everybody's comments now. So
no, we can't go into weight loss. We got another 2 minutes. So there's some folks that are not going to get here until 8:30.
Sorry.
So we cannot begin the scale victories and non-scale victories.
Okay. Because I have both.
You're so funny.
I'm so excited. I told you, I'm kind of like, Trish and I were talking about how, when you lose weight, one of the first places you can tell is your face. And I was like, I have a very, and so I'm going to have a face like Jim Carrey. I can't hide the way I feel right here.
I had somebody on one of my last videos. He's like, man, your face, you should do movies. I can't stay just to say hi. Good morning, Nelson Homestead.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for coming by and saying hello. All right, so if you get in, let us, today's question is like, where are you? Just to get a little sense of where you are geographically. We are talking about, so things we are covering today is the fact that our scale and non-scale victories, getting ready for the holiday season, and some of the questions, we're talking about. We're also going to talk about that feeling you get when you, how to put it, when you first start on the weight loss journey, because Tangi and I talked about this week a little bit, like how it feels like it almost feels impossible because it doesn't feel like you have control of your scale, and like your scale controls you. And then coming to the point of like you're having success and you're realizing, oh my goodness, I can actually do something about this. So we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about how we are going to personally deal with the upcoming Christmas festivities and the food. Some of you talked about like just how to say no and kind of that conversation. Doing what we're going to do, not to be offensive to families that are overly pushy, is what we're kind of covering today. Hello, Miss Indigo Nil from Portland, Oregon. Oh, Miss.
Yes. We also have Puerto Rico is in the house. We have Maryland. We have Wisconsin. Good morning, everybody. So glad you guys are here.
Yes. All right, Bandana Grandma, what do you mean by show some love and make your thumbs up blue as you come in? I don't know what that means.
She's talking about people liking the video as they come in.
Oh,
Give me a thumbs up.
Thank you. We do have thumbs up. Okay.
Smyrna, Georgia. Miss Mary. Hey, Mary.
Yes. Okay.
Mary's been commenting on a lot of my videos lately. She's very sweet, but she's a Georgia girl, so you kind of expect that. She's a Georgia peach like me.
That is so funny. All right, Miss Nelson, we'll see you later. Trish, details on your Christmas. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. So I will tell you, I went and bought, I kind of Instagram like my jewelry, chunky jewelry, and I got some new shoes. I also, Miss Trina's from California. Girl, you are up early. Love you. You are crushing the morning away. I went and I picked up new makeup because I hate to say, at 40 years old, I'm just kind of getting into makeup, but I really am. You're a crazy dog.
I know. She's
only when on live video. It's the only time. Doesn't when it happens. Don't hate me because I was raised a Yankee in upstate New York. I live in Maryland now with my toe Mason-Dixon line. Listen, there's a it's called I-4. No, is it I-4? I-4 is right there. It connects Tampa to Orlando. To get to the Mason-Dixon line, you got to go north above I-4. Just so you know, you have to go above Tampa. Down here, we're not even considered the South, which is funny. Okay, so look, I got somebody watching. Anyway, so I bought some makeup, and I thought I was doing it like the tutorial does on Pinterest. I had to get the wipes out because I look like a street walker. Y'all told me to get like shimmer and glitter. I had shimmered my eyes out white like a crazy person. And then of course I was doing like contouring because, let's just go all out. And contouring, I had to start all over and lighten it up. I mean, I could have gone to a drag queen thing. I had so much makeup on. So then I had to lighten it up and fix it. And then I'm really thrilled I went with the jumpsuit because it does look classier, even though I love the other outfit. And man, I can't even begin. I was talking to a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend here locally that I always send pictures to her and her daughters. I'm like, okay, what do I wear? What jewelry? What's this? And I'm sending like 45 photos the day of the Christmas party every year. So this year I sent it to her and she's like, why don't you put on YouTube? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh my goodness, I felt like an idiot for telling her that. She didn't want to hear that. That's just being nuts. So I'm like, I'll do a YouTube live and let y'all help me figure this out. So help me figure it out. And I'm like, I totally did it. And she's like, really? And I was like, oh man, she was just messing with me. But she wasn't really. And it was hilarious because we're both like, was she messing with me? Was she messing with me? And so I did it. I got there. I felt amazing. It was hilarious because even we have family that works in the same company. And when I wasn't even recognized, family members didn't even recognize me from last year. And I think like the hair and like, look at that. If you can see, it bounces. I put some super hold on here. This stuff ain't got, Aquanet's got nothing on this stuff. And it's made by like the kangaroo one. This stuff is like super hold. Yeah, and it's funny because I did my hair at 4:30 this morning for 5:30. Okay, only reason is I woke up and it looked this way. So you got to capture the opportunity. So when it's standing straight up, I just spray it all over. And if I don't, it lays down flat and then it gives me a whole different look. And I'm just like doing it up. So, and then I did well. I got some strange comments because, okay, I did like 2 crazy huge plates of salad, roasted vegetables, and chicken. I just kind of went S method. There's probably sugar in there that I couldn't control, but I just loaded on vegetables and some meat. Good to go. And then I had a little piece of chocolate cake, like little. And that actually was my downfall because after I started eating the chocolate cake, I kind of started craving sugar again. And it was like, and we're going to talk about that because that's been some of the conversations we've had about the sugar, because when you awake that flavor for sugar, it's hard to fight it. So I actually did an entire day of high fat, no carb. And I woke up this morning, I was like, done with that. I don't need the sugar. I'm back to my Weight Watchers. I do not want to live like that because for my body, it's not good. It doesn't work well. And it really helped me recalibrate my flavors. All right, I do want to say to VCQKCM, after the pregnancy of my twins, I can lose weight. Help. I'm assuming you meant to say I cannot. If you're still nursing, just realize that might be the reason you're not losing weight. If you're not nursing, then you might probably need to get some good sleep and start being accountable to your portions. Kind of deal.
Right. And we also need to disclose that we are not nutritional experts. We are two moms who are both struggling, and we are sharing what's working for us. I'm really sharing my journey. Trish is like toward the end of her journey, but then her maintenance journey begins. She's sharing what has worked for her, and we're just encouraging one another. So it could be, there might be a hormonal thing that you might need to see a professional about. So we're not professionals.
And the only credentials I have is 6 pregnancies, and then coming up and down. So that's the only experience I got on losing it. I just know that sometimes you have to give your body a break for a little bit in order to get going. Mm-hmm. And that's normal stuff.
Yeah. And I think sleep is a huge thing. You mentioned sleep. People don't realize what lack of sleep does to their body.
What does lack of sleep do for you? Because I'm going to tell you, lack of sleep for me is like donut disaster, and cake and cupcakes and chips and crackers. And I just want to eat.
Yeah. A lot of people, especially those who went to college, you've heard of the freshman 15. A lot of freshmen gain those 15 pounds. And it's because you're staying up all hours of the night studying. And what do we do to keep awake? We eat, we drink sodas, we drink coffee and things like that. So I think that's one of the reasons why moms that don't have a lot of sleep, we eat, is just to kind of keep us going. But I think a lot of it too is just your chemicals and everything gets thrown out of whack if you are not rested. We are made to rest for a reason. It gives our body time to kind of recalibrate, and sleep is huge.
So you guys, here's my question to you. Put it in the chat. What do you find happens to you when you don't sleep? Where does just your general health start coming to be a problem? So I'm looking at, so our pregnant mama with twins are no longer our mama with twins. She says, we have so much great and delicious food here in Puerto Rico. It is not easy to lose weight. And it's rice and it's plantains and I get that. So you're going to have to work on portion control, and that's going to be your biggest asset is portion control, especially if you're not nursing. But if you're nursing, not to be a promoter of Weight Watchers, I'm not sponsored by any means, not affiliated, but it is a program that definitely will help you on portion control, even if you're nursing. Amanda says, I often find when I get up in the middle of the night, my hair looks awesome. And then when I finally get up, it's awful. Yeah, Amanda, just spray with some crazy, like lacquer type solidifying hairspray and you're golden. I did go back to bed for a little while. Family in Progress has a baby, a 6-month-old breastfeeding. This is where I'm at. Lack of sleep, craving sugar, losing weight slowly, very slowly. Yes. And maybe I'll do some I'll do a playlist of all my weight loss wellness Wednesdays when I was nursing. It felt like a struggle. I could get a little bit down and then I'd get right back up, a little bit down and get right back up. And there's people, and I just want to vomit sometimes. I'm not going to lie. They're nursing and they're eating full out crazy carb meals and they're like just wasting away. And no, it does not happen. It's like, it's not coming off. I'm fighting every pound and it's fighting to come right back on.
Oh my goodness. Sharon King, girlfriend. I lost 160 pounds since 2011. Slow was best for me, and I have to have my sleepy energy is a must. You go, lady. We're not worthy. That is amazing.
Well, and that's called endurance. So Family Roots Farm says sleep with little ones does not happen. Was up till 5 with a 9-month-old and a 2-year-old was up by 7. Oh my goodness. Hey, Family Roots, back in the day when I had little people that would do that, I would kind of slump my way over to the room. I kept the TV in the room, and in the morning I'd put the TV on and say, you have to stay in bed. And I used to make the rule, you cannot get out. Lack of sleep means more coffee and lots of sugar and breastfeeding. These days are small. I mean, these days are hard and long when we're in it. And when the season is over, you realize it wasn't that long. But it is hard and long days. I know.
One of my favorite quotes about parenting is, the days are long, but the years are short.
They are.
So it's cherish it now. Cherish it. And I know y'all do. But just saying.
You know, as a mom, when they're always like, remember, you enjoy these days because you know, whatever they say, but they always say like, enjoy these days, they go too fast. And I'm kind of like, and I'd get almost, well, one, I'd get a little bit bitter because I'm just like, and you know, I'm literally going through life, you know, feeling like I've either been hit by a train or fixing to be hit by a train. And then I finally come to terms. I'm like, everybody says that because these days are so hard and so crazy and so busy, you can't enjoy them. Mm-hmm. And so once I came to the aspect you can enjoy them, I'm like, I found like a peace with enjoy what I can enjoy of it. But it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Amanda says lack of sleep absolutely makes me crave junk. Combine with the hunger of breastfeeding, and it is a recipe for disaster. I get it. I'm glad I love my water. Sometimes I can't. It makes my fibromyalgia so much worse. Then I will crash and sleep forever. I also have insomnia. Oh, Mary, that's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough. Hello, Living Like Claire, our always youngest YouTuber in the group. I love it when you come.
She is such a lovely young lady. If you guys ever want to feel hope for the future, then watch Living Like Claire's channel. She is such a lovely young lady.
I like her questions too when she comes in because it's, you know, we'll get kind of caught up in mommyhood and then she'll ask the most obvious questions that is like, oh my goodness, we should have explained that. You're right. Thank you, because Claire always calls us out.
Right. Yep.
So yes, sleep is definitely an issue on making sure that you are getting it. Okay, so we're 15 minutes in. It is definitely time. You guys tell us your non-scale and scale victories for the week. Let us have it because Tangi has some fantastic news. Oh, let me go. Amanda says, as a mom of 21, 18, 17, and 13, and a 13-month-old, woo, girl, you my hero. I'm afraid I'm going to end up like that too. She's like, she can attest the years are short. Family Roots, thank you ladies so much for support. It means so much to me. You are not alone. Listen, that's what sometimes I think the most dangerous part about being a stay-at-home mom is, and I think that's why, like Tangi and I feel the need to do this, is it's an isolating missions field.
It is.
And you feel like you're the only one going through the journey, and you're not. And so it's so important that, I mean, not the fact that we roll around in the, trenches of despair together. You know, we're not here to do that. But we're here just the fact that, like, you're not alone and it's not forever. You know, we can keep our big girl pants on and cry when we need to, but we can get this done. All right. Bandana Gamma Grandma says, I'm watching, but I haven't been doing. My husband is a teacher and students give him boxes of cookies, candy, cake, spreads these last few days, and I've been bad. Oh, yes. And then she says, rejoice not against me, oh my enemy, for when I fall, I shall rise. Here's what I do. Listen, I have 6 kids. Do you know what happens at the end of Sunday service at church? They load up all the crap. I mean, cupcakes and cookies and just junk. And they have to come home with us because, you know, we have such a big family. We need that sugar. And I mean, sometimes it works out well. Like we did the 4-H thing and they said, you know, take all the cupcakes. I'm like, no. So what they did was they said, well, would you take the hot dogs and the hamburgers? Well, sure, I'll take the hot dogs and the hamburgers. That's not a problem. They snuck the cupcakes in between and sent it home. Thankfully, I had somebody riding with me, a young girl riding with me. I sent that home to her family. I'm like, you got to take the cupcakes. And she's like, well, my mom will get mad. I said, yeah, it ain't my problem. If you want to ride next time, you better take the cupcake. And I start giving them away.
That's fine.
So then Erica says she's going to start in January, too much around the holidays. Right. You know what? Some of us can just be like, today's the day and I'm going to do this through the holidays. And some of us are like, no, I'm going to use this time to think about what I'm going to be doing in January. And then in January I start. So that's not a bad deal at all. I think that's the last thing you want to do is start something with such intensity around a very intense, things going on in the same time frame. It's just a recipe for disaster. And then when you start it like that, you kind of run into the fact of like, I'm kind of already defeated before I've gotten started. Mm-hmm. So that is like good stuff. Like if you started the first or second week in December, you're kind of good. But to try to do and start something on Christmas week, come on, mamas. We know it's not going down. It's not happening. Let's see.
Oh, that's great. Family Root says, I have been counting out the almonds and then putting the bag away. I know it's small, but it is a start. It so is. I'm really glad that she mentioned that because that was actually going to be one of my tips for when we get into our subject later. But I am one of those people that I can mindlessly graze and then the next thing I know, I'm like, how many of those did I eat? And then I don't know how many to write down in my journal. I don't know how many points that was. But yeah, that is an excellent tip.
And the other thing too is not to take one at a time, but to pour them in your hand so you visually see what it is. Did you all see Amanda from the Fundamental Home? She had stuck a link in the Facebook group that was like what 300 calories looks like on different foods. And it was insane. It was insane. But everybody was like, I like the thing of celery. It was like this huge plate of celery to eat for 300. It was like partial candy bar.
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah, that's what I was like. You can have this much broccoli and this much candy bar.
So Amanda says she's given herself grace through Christmas. I'm trying to work out what plan I will stick with too, but I am not worried about cookies I am making with my son. Yes. And here's the thing too, is even if you're picking a plan that you say, I am committing 4 weeks to, and at the end of 4 weeks, I'm going to come up with something else or figure out if I'm going to stick with it. That's a good way to start. But Bandana Grandma says, I love the textures too. When one almond is gone, it has to be replaced by another in my mouth. I need to put the bag away. Yes. Amanda Dowler got her planner yesterday, getting started this week, starting simply, drinking water, no mindless snacking. Right. Mine are.
Someone told me that those planners are still are on the website now, on Michael's website. I haven't looked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. There are so many. How do you pick a plan? My best recommendation is to pick a plan that you know that has worked. You know, there's a lot of plans out there. You could do this, do that. But I'm sure you personally know somebody that has lost weight, no pills, no surgery. I'm sure you know somebody, if not a couple, and go talk to them and find out what they're doing. Find out, the YouTubers, if you follow the YouTubers that have lost weight, look at what they're doing and what they're telling you they're doing. Because look at them, they're fighting and they're dragging a blanket around like it's a sled. This is as close as we get to snow sledding in Florida, by the way. But pick what you are doing and do it. Pick that and invest in it. So I know there's people who do Whole30. I'm not really, I know Trim Healthy Mama is great because there's that balance that allows you to carb and allows you to allows you to high fat and carb. You just don't do them together. And if you do, it's called a crossover in these little rules. There's that aspect. And that one works out really good. I had somebody that I used, that I talked to yesterday off Instagram. She's a really great little Instagrammer. And we were talking, she's like, what should I do? And we're going back and forth. And when she really got talking about it, her weight loss was a secondary thing, but getting her health back was a primary thing. And I'm like, when it comes to stuff like that, that's where I'm like, Trim Healthy Mom. Go with a Trim Healthy Mama. It's a little bit more involved to get in there, and it's heavy on dairy, and it kind of gets you into buying some specialty items. You don't have to. There's a lot of people that are Trim Healthy Mama on normal items. But that's a really good one, especially if you need healing. And sleep and, kind of kicking your metabolism back in. When it comes to just wanting something, good old fashioned calorie counting does well. Doing Weight Watchers does well. I like Weight Watchers because it doesn't make all food the same with calorie counting. It makes you kind of lean towards things that are going to be a healthier choice. And I like that. But overall, no matter what you do, write down what you eat, because so many of us are mindless grazers. So that means at the holiday festivities, don't pick off the platters, put it on a plate. Yes. Put it on a plate. So at least you walk away from the buffet table. Even if it's a plate and you're gonna mess up, it's okay. But put it on the plate and walk away. Jenny says it's also good to listen to your body. I gained 80 pounds with my first pregnancy, lost 20 with my second, and the difference was dairy. So I cut dairy out and lost 12 pounds since Thanksgiving. Awesome job. Down South housewife, Trish, for you, what are the pros and cons of Weight Watchers online? I need to do a full video on that because I feel like I've really, and Amanda, I haven't forgotten your question. Not Amanda.
Indigo.
Somebody answer Indigo, that it's a happy planner. THM, yes, Amanda Dowler is really great for nursing mamas. Weight Watchers online works for me very well. But my thing is I have done over a year's worth of meetings in the last 15 years. So for me, I use Weight Watcher meetings as a pep rally, as a motivational pit stop to get me focused again and to give me the life tools I need. Because every week they're going to give you a new life tool to get. And then so I don't need the accountability of weighing in public. There's some people that need that accountability, that I have to go to the meeting and weigh in, and I can't fake it. I don't need that case. I don't need that external motivator. I just need the tools. So if I could do Smart Points on my own, I don't need to go. I do need some of the motivation that I'm getting and some of the skills, because it is a new skill program, so it's a new skill set. So if you have done Weight Watcher meetings and you have, if you have that kind of background that you don't need the pep rally, then the meeting, you don't need the meetings. If you just need the tools and you're going to get on it and you can use because they have a Facebook kind of style group, like a messenger group in their app that you can actually kind of comment and talk to everybody, then do it online. I like it online because it's still such a new program that I'm learning. I need to get all the ins and outs and have things available to me. So that's been a huge one.
I wanted to answer Indigo. This is the planner that we are using, and I'm fixing to share the link to the Michael's website, and it is on sale for $7.99 right now.
Oh, that's sweet, because that's cheaper than I got it. I think I got it at $10 on Thanksgiving. All right. Heather says, I've been taking a pic of my food in case I can't remember to log it. Yes. I did that. I did that the other, whatever. I did it, and you're right. It is a huge game changer. In fact, I didn't even know how to calculate my points, so I stuck it on Instagram. I'm like, okay, Weight Watch Smart Point calculators. Tell me what you think this is, and I'll answer any questions. And they calculated things a little different than I did, but we all came around the same. And I was like, awesome, we could do this. All right, home cooked and handmade. I'm doing Points Plus at home. Do you find Smart Points more effective? I have done Flex Points, Smart Points, and or Flex Points, Points Plus, and Smart Points. So there's been 3 different point calculators in the history of Weight Watchers, or at least in the last 15 years. I never liked Points Plus. It was hard for me to do very quickly. It went into the carbs. It just was never a good fit for me. So I'd always lean back to Flex Points. And with Flex Points, you kind of run into the aspect that you can hide a lot of sugar in there, and then you're cutting out all this fat. So I didn't always feel like it was very well balanced. Smart Points, I'm like, you've done this right. You have done this right. You have finally got a calculating way that allows me to have the good fat it allows me, it punishes me or punitive to go against the sugar. So, and I really believe sugar is a worse culprit than fat, in my humble mommy opinion. And, you know, it motivates me to be on protein. And this last year being heavy on protein has been huge, huge on this. So I have to say I think Smart Points is much more effective. I feel like Smart Points is going to be easier. You know, here's my deal with Flex Points. As much as I love it, I could drop weight. The moment I stopped doing it, because I was loading in sugar, I wasn't being focused on protein, my weight would go right back up. I feel with Smart Points, my weight will not go back up because I've already built the solid foundation on being heavy protein. If that makes sense. Jeanette, I love Jeanette.
She's funny.
She is. I'm a grandma with issues, diabetic and extreme high cholesterol, over 9. Ooh, if I do a plan to help my cholesterol, it goes down, then my sugar skyrockets, vice versa. I just need a new body. No, you got to work with the one you got. You're not getting a new one. I don't know. I know my mom's diabetic, and she literally, I've got to get my mom on here. She's like a little bit like, oh, I don't know. She's diabetic, and she's been diabetic for a while. And then I think we're almost coming up. We're about 8 months out that she got the clear. She's cancer free. She was going through chemo and everything. So she's coming out of that, and her body's finally, you know, like done with I think it like takes 6 months or longer to kind of like get the last of the chemo out. So your body starts working. She has lost so much weight, and her diabetes was her motivator because she was getting neuropathy and stuff. And she literally is just eating every 3 hours, eating a protein, and she is only eating the serving size when it comes to carbs. And where she had been a meal skipper, and then, you know, so literally starve, you know, binge kind of deal. And she had done, what's funny is she had done the low carb, high fat Atkins style years before. And you all right?
Yes.
It's okay. We're good. You looked a little, anyway, I was like, my girl, I wish I could reach through Kentucky and get you. And she just literally, you know, keeping a protein drink, eating a piece of cheese. She's like 5 meals a day, even if that meal is just a piece of cheese. You know, she's really focused in. She's dropped so much weight so quickly. I mean, people are just like in awe. In fact, she showed up. I'm like, Mom, those pants are just too big. She's like, I know, isn't it cool? I'm like, yeah, but let's see if I got some pants in here. You know, so I'm digging, and I've already gotten rid of the size I was. But I'm like, check these out. These are my favorite. I can't wear them anymore anyways. And she looked adorable. And I was like, but, you know, and she's just cutting her carbs, being very conscious when she eats carbs to be at a serving size. And she's done fantastic. And it's been easier for her than in her blood sugars level. So that's the extent I know about being diabetic and what you should do. Mary says, I actually do not eat a lot and pretty much cut out sweets. I still stay the same weight. I drink water and 2 cups of coffee with stevia. I don't think coffee could be the problem. Here's a thought, and this is how I've lost a lot of weight in the past. Yeah, try Smart Points. I've lost a lot of weight in the past now I know you're eating the same stuff, and it goes back down to journaling, and it goes back down to being accountable to your portions. But try to bulk up your meals and volume while still staying in the same calorie Smart Point error. And you're going to do that with vegetables. So literally to the point that you feel like you're going to bust. I want you just to load up vegetables and see what happens. You know, on those very low 0 point. And I mean, you could probably go up and find old website pages talking about 0 point food on Weight Watchers. Bulk up your meals with those. And if you could just double your volume and keep your same calorie, I think your body will kick in. You'll be amazed. But double check your portions. Yes, Jeanette, you got to eat every 3 hours. And you put an alarm on your phone. I had to do that when I was doing Trim Healthy Mama. I couldn't remember. And I love coffee. Okay, so scale victories, non-scale victories. We have yet to get there. Coffee is always the answer.
I love that.
So we have huge news. Huge news. Tangi's like the winner. So I'll tell you mine. My great victory is I'm still 154.
Woo!
I did have, right. And, you know, it is funny too, because I'm like getting into like the festivities that have already happened for me to be able to stay at 154. I think one day I was like 153.8. So that was kind of huge. I haven't seen those numbers in years, like 4 years. If you're not hungry every 3 hours, still eat, Claire. Just eat. Just
Or
eat
do
a little
protein
piece of
shake.
cheese. Get a protein shake. Get a piece of cheese. You know, just an ounce of cheese is good. And the fiber, vegetables, yes. I could eat a truckload and be hungry 30 minutes later. That's okay. I mean, you pair it with a protein. Eat your protein with your vegetables. Don't just eat straight out vegetables. Eat your protein. Kind of deal. So, yeah, I was able to stay my weight, and I thought, I was just like, yes, I'm here watching and thinking about the cauliflower and the peppers in the fridge. That's funny. I was able to stay my weight, and for me, this is awesome stuff. My non-scale victory was I actually went for a run, and I haven't ran yet. That was one of my goals to do this year that I didn't really get into, and I didn't die. Before I even started running, I thought I was going to vomit. You know, I'm like, I'm probably going to vomit on this run. And I didn't vomit. So this was huge stuff. So there you go. That's my victory. But even bigger news is Tangi.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was so close to buying a party hat yesterday, but then I thought it might be too premature. I got on the scale this morning and I weighed 189.6. I have reached my 10-pound goal and I'm in the 180s.
So what's amazing about that, so you've hit 10 pounds in how many weeks?
It's been a month. It's been 1 month since I've started. So 10 pounds in a month. So I've averaged about 2 pounds per week.
Very exciting. So that was what it was. So when I had done this at the very beginning, I was like, she sent me a picture of her scale. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't like for my husband to be in the room with me when I weigh. And so I weighed this morning before I got in the shower. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited and I wanted to squeal, but my husband was still asleep. So I got back on the scale and then stepped off of it really quick and took a picture and I sent it to Trish. But when my husband got up, I said, come here. And he went, what? I was like, watch this. And then I got on the scale and showed him that I was 189. I actually only weigh 2 pounds more than him. That has never happened in our entire marriage that I have been that close to weighing the same as him. So anyway, so that's like a non-scale victory, is just the pleasure of knowing that I'm that close to weighing as much as him. But my big non-scale victory, and of course those of you that are on the Mama Gets Fit Facebook page, you know that this week was my husband and mine's 18-year anniversary, and someone a couple of months ago had given me a big bag of clothes, and so I have some clothes in my closet that I can't wear just yet, but I've been hanging on to them for, just in case. And so I was able to wear some jeans that I hadn't been able to wear yet, and so I was really excited about that as well.
So that kind of led into the question, and so during the week, Tangi keeps me in touch with like her scale, and we're going back and forth, and it just brought back the aspect of when Tangi called me the very first time, and she's like, and that sense of, you knew that when she talked to me, it was kind of like do or die. She hit her do or die moment, and just feeling a bit lost and not able to handle, I can't put it into words for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been there before. You guys saw earlier this year when I started finding healthy, just really tired about how I felt and how I looked and was just so over it. And then, so I was really making a bigger effort on cutting out processed foods, watching what I ate, but still, nothing was really, it started to come off a little bit, and then I got hurt, and then it came back on, but I never was overloading on processed foods, always whole foods. And it's funny because my friend Courtney, who is also in our Trim Healthy Mama Facebook group, she gave me the Trim Healthy Mama book for Christmas on Sunday night. And of course I read the introduction, and I was so like, I'm like, yes, this is exactly, because she, you know, kind of gives examples of people and their different journeys and what their diets are like. And there was it Farm Fresh Tess, I think, was one of the characters that they talk about, who talked about the same thing, eats whole foods, but has gained weight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so glad that I'm not the only one. So anyway, but yeah, so I got on the scale, and you know, the heaviest I've ever been as an adult is 215. And that's not being pregnant. Now the heaviest I've ever been was 249. That was the day I gave birth to my daughter. But so 215, not pregnant, not postpartum. And you know, so I hate the number 200. I do not want to see that on me ever again. So when I got on the scale and it was 199.6 or whatever it was, or 0.3, like it was that morning, I was just like, oh my gosh, I am almost there. I do not want to be there again. And so, and it was just like right after you had posted that photo on Instagram of you in those cute leggings. And I'm just like, I've got to call Trish. I've got to call Trish. I can't do this anymore.
And it's been fun. So like through the 4 weeks, I'd say week 1 was a bit like the tone in the voice was, can I do this? And I think so many of us get to that point, like, it's like, okay, I'm going to get this plan, but can I do this? Will this work? And it's been fun. Even in 4 short weeks, 10 pounds is huge. She's gone from the attitude and the tone in her voice of, can I do this, to I got this.
Yes.
And that is a huge transformation in ourselves when we get on the aspect of, can I do this? Could this work? To I got this. I got this. And you can get there. It doesn't take long to get there, but and this is where it goes into, pick a plan you've seen work. Pick a plan, because you've seen it work. You know it's possible. You know, I know a lot of times, like, Trina's calling out the Daniel way. I like the Daniel way in theory. My problem is I've never seen it work. Not to say it doesn't work, because I know I'm going to say that and everybody's going to be like, yes, it works. Good, tell me. I have not seen it work. You know, the Atkins, I know a lot of people on Atkins, and they'll drop initially. They cannot keep it off, and it doesn't stay off. I do not see it work long term. I've been watching everybody. I'm like the biggest cheerleader for weight loss. You tell me you're losing weight, we're going to have a happy dance together. And I don't care if I just met you. And because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like when I first started 15 years ago, and it was like, can I do this? Could this work? And then seeing it work, I was like, I got this. I got this. You know, so I totally get that. And, you know, so a lot of times, like, if I meet somebody who's doing Atkins and I'm like, have you thought about Trim Healthy Mama? It's very similar. You can do but listen, instead of falling off the wagon because you cheat, how about being more intentional, and it's not even a cheat? And so then I become a very huge proponent of Trim Healthy Mama, because some people's bodies work awesome. I ran into somebody at the Christmas party. This girl was a big mama. I mean, bless her heart, she always has been. Not a big deal. Lots of fun. And I go and see her at the Christmas party. She has lost 95 pounds. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's, what'd you do? And she was kind of talking about something this morning. And she's like, oh, I went fishing. I go, no, honey. I'm not talking about your day to day. I'm talking about, what'd you do to lose 95 pounds? And she's like, I eat butter and steak. Literally, that's it. I'm like, and you're eating your vegetables? She's like, nah, I've never been into vegetables. I don't eat them. And I'm like, yeah, what blood type are you again? And of course she said it. I'm a type O. I'm like, of course you are. That's why you can thrive in that. And, you know, there's people like in the Arctic, they literally eat nothing but blubber and seaweed, you know, seal meat and seal blubber and seaweed, and they live well. And I'm like, it's possible to do. It is so possible to do, but it doesn't mean everybody's body functions to that. So when it comes to getting a plan, I can't emphasize enough. I am sure you know somebody, and trust me, when they move from will this work to I can do this, they don't care if you show up and you're like, hey, I know we're not that close and I don't want to be rude, but seriously, you've dropped a pile of weight. What are you doing? Or I've noticed you're losing weight. what is it you're doing? Because I need to do something. Trust me, when they're in I got this mode, they're like, come on, let me tell you about it. Usually when you get into I got this mode, you are on the hilltop shouting and everybody's like, shut up, we don't care anymore. You know, that's what Tangi and I have been talking about. And it's a lot to do with the fact that we know what it feels like to feel that hopeless, like I have no control of the scale controls me, to I don't have to live that way. This is freedom because I'm not being controlled by my body. I have control of my body. And, you know, we know that just freedom that comes from it, that it's like, we got to tell everybody. And then they're just like, we don't care that you're losing weight because I'm not losing weight, you know, and they get into like a little, you know, you lose a few friends, whatever.
Yeah. And one thing I would add too, is that there are so many plans and there's a lot of good plans. But one of the things that attracted me to doing Weight Watchers at this season in my life is that my budget, my food budget doesn't allow for, you know, buying a lot of fancy things, I guess. So with Weight Watchers, I would learn how to eat what I can afford to buy. And so definitely, you know, interview people and ask them, why do you like this plan? You know, and then of course, then you can get into the technicals. Well, how does it work? But that's one of the things that I really like about Weight Watchers. But reading Mama Gets Fit, I really like, the more I read about it, the more I want to eventually switch over. I know that there are some things like you were telling me, what is the oil that you were telling me about?
MCT oil.
Yeah, and you said it was like $30 for 32 ounces or something. So even though it's...
But it lasts, but it feels, the general thing on Trim Healthy Mama with MCT oil, it lasts forever until it slips out of your hand and breaks. And that is like the biggest casualty. I mean, there are pictures with tears. Because what happens is no matter how hard you try, the oil always slides down the jar and eventually it just slips. It totally slips.
Yeah, but so like right now I can't drop $30 for something like that because that's like half, that's like almost
your whole week
groceries. Yeah. So but I do eventually want to switch over, and I was even considering switching over at the first of the year, but right now I think I've got really good momentum doing Weight Watchers. I think I want to stick to it until maybe I plateau. Maybe.
Right. Well, let me tell you what, this goes into a topic part that we plan to hit today. So here we go. The biggest part, and we talked about on Facebook, is getting off of sugar. Sugar is so hard. And then I told you I got the taste for it. And then, I mean, when I'm telling you I got the taste for it, it is, Jeanette, I'll tell you in just a minute. Or if Amanda will tell you in there. That was Friday night. Saturday, my girls went to my mom's shop, and it was a big midnight crafters PJ party. And so I went over there, and they had the rum cake, and I totally had the rum cake. And I totally had the cookies. And next thing I know, and I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to postpone, count my points for another 15 hours. It'll be fine. Sunday comes along. I'm like, I'm on this. Oh, no, I'm not. I had myself some pulled pork tacos. And I mean, I had a pile of tacos. Ooh, there went that baby. Ooh.
Hey, baby.
She's a nutcase. So I had the tacos. And then I went through, and then Monday was another mess. I got into finger foods and just went to town. And I'm just like, this has got to stop. And it's one of those like, how do I get my points? I don't even desire to have my points right now. I don't even care. Nothing's satisfying. Yesterday, I did an entire day of high fat, low, no carbs at all day. Just, you know, almost a heavy, heavy, deep S if you're doing Trim Healthy Mama. Because what I've learned with Trim Healthy Mama is if I need to pull an S, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to kill me. I just can't eat carbs with it. And so I got to knock on the window and get them to come. Wait, look at her. She's pushing. Oh, you can't. I don't know if you can see her. She's pushing the door shut. They're like, I'm a little girl. And she's like, no. Yeah. Watch out for her fingers. Okay, they got her. And so I did. So yesterday's entire meal, bulletproof coffee, MCT oil and butter and stevia. Blended that sucker. That was my breakfast. And then I turned around. I had cheese curds with Cajun
I love cheese
seasoning.
curds.
Oh my goodness. Had a bag of cheese curds for lunch. Dinner, I mean, I know I just overindulged. I had 2 steaks and a pound of cauliflower covered in butter, bacon, and cheese. I mean, I ate so I couldn't eat. I woke up this morning hungry, and it's the first thing I wanted? A cantaloupe and bananas. So, and I can't have that if I'm doing the low carb.
Right.
And that right there was my trigger point. If I loaded on that protein and I loaded on that fat, I would be done with it. And at the end of this morning, I woke up and I'm like, do I go to a second day? Oh, heck no, I got points. That's way better to do for me.
Right.
Go
Mama
ahead.
Schmooze.
Yes. And then somebody came in and said, hi, y'all. Oh, Mama Schmooze has got to go. So I want to get into that feed a little bit.
Yeah, Amanda, okay, she said that you can get MCT oil for a good price on eBay. Heather says if you can't afford MCT, use coconut oil. That was one thing I didn't know about the Trim Healthy Mama, is that there is a mama budget plan. So that is really cool. And that might be, as I transition, I'll have to start from there probably. But one thing I didn't realize, because a lot of people are really big on buying protein or whey protein, but I love that they mentioned if you can't afford the protein powder, to use cottage cheese. I had no idea you could do that. I was like, oh, cool.
Then they do. Okay, if any of you have gone to Disney, if any of you have had your Disney experience, there is something called a Dole Whip, Dole Pineapple Whip. Trim Healthy Mama has a recipe that is very similar. Frozen pineapples, but you have to be careful with frozen pineapples. Most of them are covered in sugar water. But Walmart carries a pineapple chunks that are not in sugar water. They're straight out pineapple. You take that and you blend it with cottage cheese, stevia, and a couple other things. Fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And it's protein. And there's a lot of things. The reason I own a bottle of MCT oil is because it was a year ago, and it's after I did all the coconut oil that I went and I got into finally getting MCT oil and stuff like that. They do have a lot of things. The big part about the MCT oil is that all it did was go and grab the medium chains out of the coconut. So it's just coconut oil refined to just be nothing but the medium chains, not all the different stuff. And so that's what it kind of comes to. So you can get the same benefit of coconut oil. It's just, it's supercharged MCT oil, supercharged coconut oil. And what it does is it actually starts burning it gets your metabolism burning. It kicks up your metabolism. The other thing that I've read about too, and I've kind of looked into a little bit, is that coconut oil is notorious for rebuilding brain tissue. So something to look into, like for Alzheimer's and stuff like that. You can do THM with Aldi food and just not make the special stuff. And stop by Walmart to get your frozen bags of cauliflower until they carry cauliflower. I think if Aldi's, if you're watching us right now, if you would add a bag of cauliflower in there, sales would go through the roof. I mean, cauliflower is all the new rage. You got to know that. So most definitely. So yeah, that's what I did to kickstart my body back into going into trim, just taking the day in a deep S and trim S. And that's one of the things I've learned. This is only the thing you got to do, and you got to do it right the whole time, because otherwise, it doesn't work. It's the fact that I can flip flop in there as I needed to and be fine. And one day is not going to kill you. Or one meal's not going to kill you. Oh, Jeanette, I use like a half a teaspoon. You have to work, like a serving size is 1 tablespoon. Girl, if you take 1 tablespoon without prior experience, your day will be on the potty. It will hit you in a way that you cannot survive. You can survive it, but girl, I've had that mistake and I was like, whoo, not again, ever again. So you kind of work yourself up to it. So when we were talking about the bottle. It's $30, and it's essentially 1 tablespoon. There's 30 tablespoons in there. So, it's about $1 a tablespoon. But for me, I could never get to the point of taking a whole tablespoon. It was always like half a tablespoon kind of amount.
So, but she's like, how do you use it? Like, so you put it in your coffee.
I put it in my coffee, but I have to blend it, and it makes it frothy, and I drink it that way. Some people like put it right, like literally just go a little table, and then it swirls on top. It's a texture thing. I can't do that. I don't want to feel something slimy on the top of my coffee.
Mm-mm.
So I'm sure that people have other ways of doing it. You don't want to heat it up, though. You don't want to cook it. You just kind of want to add it to it. My metformin keeps me on the potty anyway, so what the heck? I found it 32 ounces for $20. I'm not doing that to my coffee. If you've done, girl, I love you. You're so funny.
She is funny.
Some use it as a salad dressing. Yes. But I will tell you, if you have done the bulletproof coffee, which is, a sweetener, butter, the first time I heard doing butter in your coffee, I was like, what? No. Oh my goodness. It is like Starbucks. I'm not gonna lie. It is a froth. It is fantastic, but you got to blend it, and you can put the MCT.
It's silky smooth. It's so good.
Yes, and in fact, I have days I'm like, I really miss bulletproof coffee. I'm like, but I'm not counting the points on that today. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Unless, too bad coconut oil isn't saturated fat free. That I'd be golden. I'd be golden. You've never heard butter in your coffee?
I'm not Paula Deen.
Huh? I'm not Paula Deen. No butter in my coffee either.
Yeah.
Yes, and collagen too is good and it's just adding your protein in. Okay.
Collagen's good for your joints, right?
Your hair, your joints. I've had some of the best nails with protein and collagen.
I need it. I need collagen. The reason why I was telling Trish, the reason why I haven't started running, and I do eventually have a goal of running a 5K, but right now with the weight that I have on my knees, when I walk down the steps, I can hear my knees crunch. And I'm just like, that can't be good. So.
Right. And the other part too is every 10 pounds you have on is 40 pounds on your knees.
So I just took 40 pounds off my knees.
Yes, you did. 40 pounds, a little less crunch in your knee.
That's right. Awesome.
Okay, so let's talk before we run out of time is how to combat the holidays. So what is going to be your biggest problem when you get together with everybody and it's Christmas food all over the house? What is your huge struggle? And if you have a plan on what you're going to do for it, let us know.
Yes.
So
I know mine, which we've already touched on, is grazing. I am so bad about, because you get talking and we usually play games, and and then there's a vegetable tray, which veggies are great, but the cheese ball that you eat it with or the dip that you eat it with are loaded in points. And so that's one thing, is I plan to make myself a plate so I can actually see how much I'm eating. So, and I'm going to load up on the veggies, not use very much dip, just like barely tap it in there. And then of course the desserts. The desserts are going to be very hard to stay away from. But I'm going to allow myself some because it is the holidays. But I'm just going to have a taste, just enough to taste it, but not enough to jack my sugar up.
I think I'm at the point we've finally kind of figured it out, because it's a little bit funny with Christmas Eve being on Saturday and Christmas Day on Sunday. So we're going old school style, like the way I grew up. And on Christmas Eve, we are doing nothing but finger food, which sounds great in theory. Mm-hmm. But it's like little weenie dogs in the crock pot with a jar of chili sauce and a jar of grape jelly.
Grape jelly, yeah.
I'm like, oh, and and I want it. Mm-hmm. And so what I've decided, and like the crackers, and I don't know, I'm just having I want the crackers and the cheese spread, and I want this and I want that. And I've decided we're going to do that. I don't want to say I'm not going whole hog for the expression, but I'm definitely going to go intentionally enjoy, because Tangi and I talked about it's Christmas. You know,
Right.
some of the stuff you have, you don't see the rest of the year. It's very special, you know, kind of thing you do.
Like eggnog.
You know, I did see on Pinterest there is a sugar-free version of eggnog. I already bought like the pre-made stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna have time to make it. I'll just buy the pre-made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, and then I read the sugar and I was just like, no, we can't do the sugar.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, maybe I ought to pull out an almond milk version of eggnog. Dude, my problem is eggnog, Jeanette, and rum cake. And Lord help us if there's even rum in the eggnog, because I'm sugar high already. It's bad news. And so I'm like, well, if I make mine, I know there's nothing in it and I'll be good. But I love this stuff and it's just a sugar comatose.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're going to do the hors d'oeuvres. And then the next day, I think we're doing a roasted sirloin and, you know, kind of like steak. So my thinking is I'm going for it Christmas Eve. I'm going to behave all the way, and I'm not starving all the way to the meal. I am going to behave and eat my 8 points, and then I'm eating everything. Everything I want, I'm going to put it on a plate. I'll take pictures so I can account for what it is. And did you guys lose sound? I hope not. Ooh, eggnog, don't. Bandana grandma, you're killing me. Killing me. So I'm going for it, but then I know I'm going to be craving sugar from then out. And so then Christmas Day, I'm going a straight deep S. I'm going to have the meat. I'm going to have the cauliflower, butter, the whole 9 yards. And I'm just going to saturate myself in protein and fat for the day. And at the end of the day, I'll be like, okay, no sugar. I'm back on my point. So that's the method I'm planning. Let's hope it works out that way. All right, so besides the fact that we're all on eggnog, let me see what you guys have to say. We're still on butter. Stress eating is my problem. I will eat at the slightest hint of nerves, and I will head for the plate of who cares what it is. Oh, God bless. That's a hard thing to handle, doing that way. And, you know, some of the times it comes from the fact that you know that you're not full. You know, because essentially in your stress mode, you're looking for that feeling of full. So if you feel like stress is coming, or you can anticipate like, oh my goodness, I have to be with his mother. You know, I'm just kidding. But you know, my brother and his brother are showing up. This is not going to be good. It's going to be bad. If you know that you're fixing to be in a family toxic situation and you better put good faces on, eat before everybody shows up. And that's the other thing too, is if you know you're going somewhere and it's about to be bad choice city, you know, like just call it the Las Vegas of the food buffet. Eat before you get there. Fill up on a lot of stuff. Fill up on the veggie soup, the garden 0 point soup. Fill up on piles of vegetables, like to the point that you don't even want to button your pants and walk out the house. And when you do that and you go to the party of Sin City food, it's not as tempting.
The only problem though with Sin City food is what happens there won't stay there. It'll get on your booty and it'll get on your belly. It'll show up.
Right. It will show up. It never was what is it? A moment on the lips, forever on your hips.
Yep.
Is going to be there. So Bourbon Hillbilly says she gets so caught up in her to-do list that I go all day and don't eat. Then I eat dinner and collapse. Listen, put on your to-do list breakfast. Put on your to-do list a snack. Space it in your to-do list. So you'll see it on your to-do list and be remembered to do it.
And I know that sounds setting an alarm on their phone to remind them to eat.
Right. And I know that sounds like crazy simple, but seriously, just seeing it on the list, you go, oh yeah, I should grab a piece of cheese. I should grab a yogurt. I should grab this. And you're there.
Right. And again, that goes back to also having things where you can make yourself a protein shake, or buying those Premier Choice ones. Just having something on hand that is quick that you don't have to go out of your way to fix. And it's just get it, take it in, and
put something in my body quick. Put
Yes.
something in my body. I'm good to go. You don't have to sit down and have a 3-course meal. Do not have a 3-course meal. If you're eating 5 times a day, little things. You don't even have to stop to eat. Just make sure you had put something in there as a snack. So, and that goes back into like living like Claire said. Living like Claire said, you know, what happens if I don't feel hungry? Well, the problem is we'll get that 3-hour mark and not feel hungry. But then when we hit lunch, we're ravished.
Right.
So what you're really doing is preventative. You are taking in something small, even when you're not hungry. One, it turns your body in going, oh, I need to be burning this. I need to be eating this up. Now, it doesn't happen if you spend the whole time grazing. It doesn't count. You know, you got to have that time for your body to rest and digest that food. But then it gets you to lunch and you're not dying. We are going once a week for cake night, but we only go every 2 to 3 months now. I need to get a super-free pie or a fruit bowl, a sugar-free pie or fruit bowl. Yeah, and you know, if you're doing Weight Watchers, fruit is free, but aren't you diabetic, Mary? So you better be careful, you know, what you're getting.
Jenny Young said, boredom eating is my problem. Any advice?
You need better hobbies.
Jeanette said I crochet. But I mean, that's like, I think first of all is knowing when you want to eat because you're bored. Sometimes, oh, I need something to eat. But if you can recognize, oh, I'm eating because I'm bored, then definitely, you know, take a walk, go throw in some laundry, clean the bathroom, you know, do something to keep your mind off of, watch a YouTube video, you know,
there
come
you go.
See us.
Good, Mary, that you're not diabetic, so you can eat the fruit and not have any problems. Yeah, definitely. You need to register and sometimes like I'll feel like the need to munch, and it's not necessary. And we were talking about this in the Facebook group. You have different times when you're eating and you're over consuming, and you know it's not genuine hunger, but you just keep eating. And what I do, sometimes it's because you're actually thirsty. Other times it's because your body is starving for a mineral and it's got you grazing, looking for the next thing. And it happens a lot right before our cycles. We'll get into like just constant grazing, looking for stuff. And it's really just the fact that we're into the cycle. We're coming into our cycle and our body's needing something specific. So it's got us consuming everything until it finds it. I have found in those cases, there's one called Amazing Grass and there's another one called Bernoulli's greens. It's a powder. It's essentially like they go and they get specific doing like a green, you know, wheat grass and what alfalfa and whatever else that stuff is. They grind it up. They dehydrate it, grind it up all there, and it's really pure. So I get the one that's chocolate because, well, if it's that time of the month, it's time to get chocolate. So I get the chocolate one, I add it with almond milk, and it's 2 points. And usually that will kill my grazing because I just gave my body very easily absorbed minerals. So it could be water, it could be minerals, or it could be genuine boredom. If it's genuine boredom, find something that keeps you busy. Mm-hmm. And if it's like, well, I don't want to clean the house. Well, who said you got to clean the house? Get a hobby, you know, get into sewing. Listen, do you not see this back here? I'm not really a house cleaner. I could be sewing or scrapbooking or something. There's so much other stuff to do than clean house. I got to have Tangi over. So clean.
If you have a friend like Trish, and one of the things when I talk to Trish and when I talk to Amanda from the Fundamental Home, I find something to do with my hands. Like either I'll walk around or I'll organize a cabinet or something like that. But that helps. That helps keep my mind off of wanting to be in the kitchen eating something.
And then there's the other aspect that, you know, for the folks that are recovered smokers, it's hard because they're used to constantly having their fingers in their mouth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they replace it with, you're laughing at Jeanette saying cleaning is overrated.
Yeah.
It is. It's still
She's
overrated.
Such a mess.
But they'll find that urge where they're constantly, so a lot of times they'll replace the cigarettes to their mouth to the food to their mouth because this is a physical touch they're used to touching. And I know a lot of them that got into coloring just to keep their hands busy to break that connection up. kind of deal. But, you know, it just comes into, trust me, you can get so consumed in something you forget to eat. It happens. So if you're finding yourself bored, looking to eat out of boredom, then you need to go find yourself something to do. And if all else fails and it's like, I'm in the house and I can't help it, leave the house. Go for a walk. Even if it's the whole time going, Trish, I hate that you told me to go for this walk because I really want to eat something, but I don't need to eat something. And by the time you get to back, you're kind of like, okay, I need a drink. I'm good.
Right. And something that I've noticed too is when you eat out of boredom, you're not satisfied. And so you have to, you know, nip it in the bud. If you know that's your problem, then do something to get your brain off of it, because even if you eat, it's still not going to be enough. Speaking from experience.
Hey,
yes.
So what are you going to do? What are you guys going to do when it's like, hey, I made this sugar-laden, sinful piece of thing that's not going to really make you happy, but you have to eat it because, wait, they're running. You have to eat it because I made it, and you must not like me and devalue me because, because it's okay if she walks in for a little bit. You know, you're devaluing me as a person because you're not eating my food. You know, how are you going to handle that?
Yeah, we actually have somebody like that in our family, and it's, you know, we will say, no thanks, I'm full. And they will ask us 5-6 times, are you sure you don't want something else? I've got some pie, I've got some cake. No thanks. No thank you. No, thank you. No.
Right. And even worse is when it's like, oh yeah, I know you're dieting. Honey, you didn't really eat enough. But I seen what you eat. And it's kind of like, mind your own business. I'm going, you know, I hate, you know, and like they'll guilt complex. And this is not just food. This is like, there's just those people. And there's those people that are, I'm saying this in kindness in case this is somebody you truly love, and we should love everybody. But, you know, here's the thing. There are people in their own.
Sorry.
I know. Sorry. I'm chubby. I don't need it. Right, God was right. You know, and it kind of runs into, there's going to be those people in your life, no matter what it is, that are going to be like, I'm going to push my will in on you, and such, the sabotage queens, you know, that they're going to push their will on you to get what they want from you. And they're going to do this. And what they really do is they back you in a corner. So any way of defending yourself, you come out looking like a jerk.
Right.
And it's just what it is. And then we get all upset with ourselves because they're like, I acted like a jerk. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe I was such a jerk. And she was just trying to be nice. No, the cover is nice. It's called passive aggressive. And they're passively aggressively pushing their food, it's not even food, it's my will. My will is you have to eat because I made this, and I'm pushing it. I'm going to push you in a corner until you come off like a jerk. And then we'll internalize this like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to be mean. But the reality is we have to look at it as, no, they were mean. They were the ones being really the jerk. And they push it to the point that we have to really get loud and obnoxious to be heard. And although it's easy to internalize that as our fault, I'm not afraid to say it's not my fault. If you made me act like a jerk, it's not my fault. You did not listen. And so I know this is touchy because you're going to family and you're like, but how am I going to handle this? Well, you go two ways. You either be a jerk or you come home fat. Sorry.
Yeah, well, and I think too, I mean, you know, and there might be people who are passively aggressively being wanting to sabotage, because a friend of mine who is part of our, she just joined our Mama Gets Fit thing, and we're hoping, I haven't asked her yet, but hopefully we'll be able to get her on maybe one day, because she's experienced a lot of negative experiences, people who are jealous of her, and because she lost almost 100 pounds, and a lot of nasty things were said to her, people who she thought were her friends. And anyway, so there are people who want to sabotage you. You need to eat a cheeseburger. You're getting too skinny, you know, that kind of thing. But there are those who also love you with food. And so when you say no thanks, to them, you are rejecting their love. And so we do need to be like kinder, more gracious, but we also still need to be firm. You know, no, thank you, I'm full. I bet it's great. Maybe I'll take a piece with me and eat it later. That might be
Or
something
the fact
that
of don't let people make your plates. You know, there's a big one. And when they're pushing, like, you have to try this, you have to, oh, I'll go back and get that. You know, but I brought you a plate. No, you know, and the thing too is you don't have to be part of the clean plate club so if they're there standing over you and they want you to take 2 spoonfuls, sometimes you have to tell your significant other, you're taking one for the team. You know, you got to take it for the team.
Yeah. Oh, and that was another one of my non-scale victories that I forgot to mention. Is that when my husband and I went out to eat for our anniversary, and I didn't eat everything that was on my plate. I actually felt full halfway into what they brought me. So that was a really exciting feeling, knowing that my stomach has shrunk that much, because used to, I would shovel in the chips and the salsa as fast as I could. And then they would bring me the plate and then I would finish it all, but I couldn't. So that was a non-scale victory.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
No, because that's perfect. And the other aspect is, you know, if you get a plate, take 2 plates to the table, you know, one under the other. And if you're kind of like, oh my goodness, I got over ambitious at the buffet city, you can take that plate and you got your second plate, just piece off, you know, and just be high maintenance. There's nothing wrong with being high maintenance. You know, and sometimes you run into, you're like, well, I just started this, and people are like, well, I haven't really noticed. You can cheat one day, and it's like, why do you get to decide what days I cheat? What days, you know, why do you have that decision? You have that decision for you, not me. So I like to do the, you know, oh, well, I'm not really that hungry, or let me go back and get that, and I kind of don't, or let me scrape it on my husband's plate. And if you're one of those that's like, you know, I just kind of peel off, you know, you might need to make 1 plate, then buffet off that 1 plate, you know, what you're taking with a smaller plate to feel satisfied and get the, you know, if you get what I'm saying on that.
Yeah, and Sharon has a really good one. She said, if I go out, I always ask for it to go and eat half. And I think that's probably what I'm going to start doing, because I was telling Trish that even after I was done, I kind of like pushed my plate away. But then as my husband and I were talking, I started picking out my plate. And I was like, I need a to-go box. I have to get this out of my sight, because I'm just sitting here and I'm stuffed and miserable, and I kept picking at it. So that's actually a really good tip. And I'm probably going to start doing that for real.
And it is. And that's something you can do immediately when your food comes. Because I'll tell you what, I've had many times where I've had the plate that they bring you at the restaurant, cut it in half. I eat my half. And then I start getting into that other part.
And that might be something, if you are having the holidays at somebody else's house, I mean, it might seem weird, but maybe take a a food container. And that way, you know, in your mind, you can say, I don't have to gorge myself now, because I'm going to take this home with me and have it later. That will keep you from overeating.
And a lot of times that feeds that whole compliment of, I really love you and you have to eat my food. It's like, awesome. I love this. Let me take containers. And I don't think that that's a bad idea to do. Grab containers to take, because a lot of times people are like, oh, you do love it. You want to take it home. Yes, I want to take it home. I just don't want to eat it all today. Right. And that could be something you could tell them. And I will tell you that it's not really frowned upon. What is she doing? As a mom who likes to take leftovers over, because, and I always laugh, I'm like, you're not really gifting me with leftovers. You're gifting me with the act of service of me not having to cook a meal. I'm getting a meal off from my kids. Give me your leftovers. And I show up with tubs.
Yeah, you know, that's great.
Because I'm lazy. I like what Leah said. But she said, I don't like to tell people I'm on a diet. Sometimes they tend to make unkind comments, and I don't want them to stick in my head. Amen.
That's a good idea.
That's true. Yes. And it's, and then I like to share the space with my kids. That way I can eat what I need and no one blinks when my kids don't finish their plate. Yes. I tell people to bring a container to get to a food event so I can send them home with the leftovers, get it out of the house, and it's their own container. Right. And then you're not taking the other person's container, or you buy a big stack. If you're hosting the meal and you know there's going to be a pile of stuff, go get the big, just buy several things like containers and just be like, this is your gift. I know she went into my bedroom.
Dollar Tree has a lot of great containers, food containers.
All right. Bandana Grandma, you got to go. The other one is many times is sweets have honey in them and I'm allergic and it stops me from eating. There you go. The other aspect, talking about dealing with people and their attitudes, sometimes you run into the conversation of, it's almost like when you first start losing weight that you, and you're heavier. I know like when I was heavier and I just started losing a little bit of weight, it was almost like I didn't deserve to tell people I was losing weight until I'd lost enough that they're like, oh, wow, you are losing weight. Okay, now we'll respect you for doing that. And that has got to be the most aggravating part. Like you don't have authenticity on being controlling your diet because you haven't lost enough to prove that you're really doing it. So then everybody wants to sabotage you before you start. What do you think?
I don't have that problem. I'm so excited. I'm just like, I've lost 5 pounds. I actually told people at our right after our Christmas program, we had a potluck dinner, and I told everybody. I was like, well, not everybody, but just, a few of my close pals. I'm like, I'm almost to my 10-pound weight loss mark. So yeah, I don't have that problem. But I know that as I lose more weight though, that there will be those who will say, you're getting too skinny. You need to eat something. But yeah, that was one thing. I don't know if I told you about that, Trish. Sunday night we had our Christmas program, and then afterwards we had a potluck dinner, and I was very, very careful about what I got. Okay, for one thing, I'm Baptist. I'm a Baptist, and I'm from the South. So our potlucks are like amazing. And so I was like looking at the table going, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I wanted to eat. So what I did was I got a lot of veggies, and then I got just enough to taste of the other things that were probably like, had a lot of butter and stuff like that in it. So I was so worried because I didn't know how to count it. And I thought, well, I'm just going to control the portions and not worry about the points. And I mean, I still lost 2 pounds this week. So I was happy that I did that.
I love,
Jeanette.
I love Compass Rose. She talks about, if you want somebody to stop talking about you, talk about how great they are. Guaranteed, they will forget what they're going to talk to you about or complain about you. I mean, let me tell you, Compass has got it right there. And there's no crime in storing food. Sometimes you might want to take food home and say you're taking it home and just put it in the garbage. Just totally garbage it. I'm with you. Everybody's happy. Sometimes, ignorance is bliss. Mm-hmm. So I did have to go find my friend.
Look at that baby. Hi, sweet girl.
She's just rotten.
She's adorable.
So we are definitely got to call it a day. We have ran over beyond over. I am really excited to hear about how you guys handled your Christmas. I will tell you.
Why are you freezing up on my phone?
Exercise equipment after next week is the time to do it, because that's when they that's when it all goes on sale. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Mustard Seed, you just got here. We're fixing to head out, but don't worry, you can catch, it takes a little bit to process and you'll be able to catch it on. Yep, she's run away to a good spot though this time. Shut the door. So that's what I think. They're like, what is, Oh, if they try to come get her to go out, she like lays down and plays dead. Little possum. All right, so I'll close us in prayer. Let us know. Remember to join the Facebook group. I will have that in the description below. Now let me tell you, you better message us if you're using your husband's account and it's a man, it's a no-go. You're not getting in the group at all. In fact, I think we're going to have to do something when we do like a little vet you out. We're growing pretty quickly. So I can't remember how many we're in. You don't have, oh, Mama Cat, I'm sorry, you don't have Facebook. I'm sorry. But
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we pray, I wanted to remind everybody that today I'm going to be posting my Wellness Wednesday and just talking about, what I did and what my goals are for the rest of the week. And also this week I have the Frugal Family Food video. For those of you who are familiar with Frugal Family Food, each week we have a collaborative channel to share a recipe. And this week is my week. And I am doing a Weight Watcher recipe, and it is lemon ricotta cookies. So be sure to tune in to my channel on Friday.
And then also remember to give me a shout and let me know that you've done a Wellness Wednesday video. I am putting everybody's for this month on one playlist so you can see where everybody is, and I'll do that every month. So if you have a YouTube channel and you're thinking about joining in on us, it's wellness, not weight loss. You do not have to be losing weight to be successful. There's a lot of aspects that have nothing to do with weight about getting well. So let me know about that and I'll add you in the playlist. I try to find them, but I'm not always the best at them.
Yep.
All right.
And Merry Christmas to you all too.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you. All right, so here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you again for this time that you come together. Lord, you give us the biggest blessing. I mean, just an enriched blessing of being able to come together as moms, discussing these just battles we have in the trenches of motherhood, Lord. Thank you for not letting the enemy get to our hearts, that we're alone and that we're isolated, and that given us the opportunity, Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity that we can connect in fellowship with those in the trenches with us and renew our steadfast in the work that you provided for us. Lord, thank you for giving us the tools to be available in order to have control of the vessel you have given us, Lord. And let us remember that this is not our identity, but just the vehicle that we walk this world in. Lord, as we come this weekend to celebrate the gift and the promise you have given us through the Lord Jesus Christ and on his birth that we celebrate, just to begin the fulfillment of the promise that you've brought to us by putting him on the cross, dear Lord. Thank you. Lord, thank you for giving us such a reason that the beginning of that promise was being fulfilled with the celebration of the birth of him. Lord, let us not fall privy to distractions that pull us away from that, or using food to distract us and let the enemy in on such an amazing time of year. Dear Lord, thank you again for bringing us together. Thank you, Lord, for Tangi. And thank you, Lord, for blessing me with every one of these women that were here. Lord, be with them as they go out into the world that they have this season, to stay strong, to be knowledgeable, to be prepared, and to be successful. Lord, give us grace when we fall off our plans. Lord, and let us know that we walk in your will. In your son's precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you guys, we will see you again. So Home Cook says, I am glad to feel good about switching between THM and Weight Watchers. Thanks again. I can do this. You got this, girl. You can do this. And let me tell you, when you have days that it's hard, just switch back. So we're going to see you later. You going to say goodbye, Tangi?
Bye, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.